Hello, Flosstube. Today is Saturday, March 21st. My name is Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches. This is a channel about cross stitch. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome. If you're a new person, welcome. You can hit if you're a new viewer, you can hit the subscribe button and the little bell for notifications, and you'll know every time I do another update, which is usually Saturday, sometimes Saturday. It's midday, and the reason I slept in today quite a while because I was up very late last night, I think, because I don't have a specific schedule to keep. Sometimes I stitch, into the wee hours and sleep, and then wake up and stitch, and then sleep, and then whatever. So anyway, I kind of did that today. I was stitching early in the morning, but I think I had slept before that, and then fell asleep again, and woke up around 11, which is terrible. It's terrible. I have an alarm on my phone so that every morning, it goes off at a certain time, and I try to keep that schedule so that I, keep a normal schedule, because otherwise I would stay up all night and sleep all day and stay, whatever, and that would really kind of not fit with everybody else's schedule. So I try to be like a normal person. There's a cat back there. So anyway, this is a channel about cross stitch. And right off the top, I wanted to mention again the little Etsy shop that my sisters and I are trying to get off the ground. 3 Sisters Creative. The number 3 Sisters Creative. 3. Is that backwards? I don't know. 3 Sisters Creative. We have just a couple of items, 2 or 3 items on this shop right now, but we're hoping to be able to add more as we go along. I had tried to put the link in last week's video, and I hadn't gone back. I meant to go back and check it and try to update it, whatever, and I didn't. I forgot to edit the right link in there, so it was not a complete link, but it's been fixed now, and I hope in this box below this video, I'm going to try to put it again in there, and this time I will make sure that it's correct. Not that we're having hand over fist traffic, but it's I want to put it out there. And in the Etsy shop, in addition to the 10 minutes to midnight and the one little chore flip that's in there, and I'm still working on it. And anyway, I was working on the homework chore flip thing, and I had some questions about it, and so it was delayed, and and everything. And also, one of the colors wasn't working on the fabric that I had it on. It wasn't showing up very well, so I had to pull all that out and change colors and all that. So, but on there also, there's a portrait that my sister did as an example, and I was corrected later. It's in pastels. It's not a painting. It's done in pastels, which is like a colored. I don't know what it is. Colored pencil kind of thing, but it's blendable. Anyway, it's people who know art know more about it than I do. So, but anyway, it's done in pastel. It's not a painting. So, like, if you were to send in a photograph to her, she would duplicate that photograph in pastels, as a drawing for you. So that's also available in the Etsy shop. So, and then one of the things we're wanting to do in the Etsy shop to offer is a series of, like, seasonal kind of little things, and these are not, they're not FFO'd yet, but this is an example of one. This says heartstrings and has little heart-shaped balloons. Anyway, this will probably be FFO'd into like a little pillow. Yeah, there's one. And that's just done on white Aida. So, you know, of course you can finish it on any fabric that you want. And speaking of fabrics, my sister and I dyed a few colors this week. And this is looking very blue on camera, but it looks kind of purple in real life. It was supposed to be blue, like a dark blue. And then this lighter blue, and this is brownish for fall, and this is supposed to be green, but it looks kind of blue. It looks more blue, you know. And as a matter of fact, we were trying to get a light green, kind of like the shirt I'm wearing, you know, but it came out very dark, very blue, very dark. And this, I just want to show a little bit of this purple on there. It doesn't really show up very well in real life. I mean, you can see it, but it should pop a little more, I think. So I think I'm gonna either re-dye this one, or I think I'm just gonna dye a new piece of cloth for it, and to try to get a lighter green, a different green. Anyway, but these are all just little pieces of Aida cloth, and they're not very big. They're like, you know, 6x6 or something like that, or 5x5, or I don't know what. I don't think I measured them exactly, but and they haven't been ironed. They're just wrinkled, but they're fairly small, and but those will be seasonal. There's one for Easter, one for fall, one for Memorial Day, and one for 4th of July. So far, those are the ideas. And so anyway, we're still working on those for the Etsy shop. Anyway, so the Etsy shop is an ongoing. We're still trying to sort of figure it all out. But it's there. It exists now. So hopefully there'll be something that you'll want in the future. Okay, so then apart from that, I do have one whip that, do I have it hit? Yeah, here it is. For, Stitch Shenanigans is supposed to happen in the middle of April, and so the whole coronavirus self-isolation thing, self-quarantine thing that's going on is impacting it somewhat. Some people have had to cancel because plane flights, and one woman was coming from Canada, and so it's hard to know how long the quarantine will go on, or how much it will impact the social gatherings and things like that. And so it's a little early, since it's still March. It's a little early to count on Stitch Shenanigans being affected one way or the other. There's only about there's less than 160 something people attending, and so far the way I understand it, the hotel has not said anything, and so it's still going on, as far as I know. And so I'm just, as far as I'm concerned, I'm still, Puck, don't, please, sorry, my cat is messing with things. I'm just, sticking to my plans, and for stitch shenanigans until I hear something official. And the last official word was it's still on. So anyway, I had made something for the Smalls Exchange, and I think in addition to that, I want to do this. Oops, it's You I Like, just as a little, bonus thingy to give to the person that I exchange with. And I think I had shown this, and it looks, to me, it looks a little bit like raspberry, ice cream or dessert or something, something raspberry-ish. But anyway, so I have the word you in this. This was, I want to say blue jeans or something. I can't remember the Week Star Works, the name of this. It's something like blue jeans or denim blue or something like that. But is the color that I use for the word you, and then for it's I like is this other color of blue. This is a Week Star Works also. It's blue heron, and this is the same color that I used last week. I showed that bunny that I'm working on for what is it called? Special Delivery is the name of the pattern, and this is the blue that was in the bunny's little bow tie. And so I'm done with that. It's the only place that it's used. So I stuck it in this with this chart. I'm going to use it with this one. And I think I'm going to do the border in this color as well. I put a border around it just for fun. So yeah. So I'm going to make a little pillow, I think, out of that. And then see, yeah, I want to do, there's been a trend of people doing self-care new starts. It's a trend that was started in the Friday Off the Grid group. And so I've been thinking about that. And I'm still working on my little Prairie Schooler Black Angels. I haven't worked on it in a while since I had a finish a few weeks back. January, February, whatever it was, I finished it. But I was thinking about starting the next I've done 4 of the angels and I have 4 more to go. And so I was thinking about starting the next angel, and I might still, but because it's spring, I thought I would do this hands-on design, Life Needs More Chocolate Bunnies. And I've had it kitted up for a few weeks now because it was getting close to spring and I wanted to do something springish. So this is 26 count. It's a 26 count linen in like ecru or natural or whatever. I haven't dyed it or anything like that, so I think I'm gonna use this color for that. And then I decided to do, instead of the sulky threads that are called for, I just did a DMC conversion. And I have the little buttons that come with this chart. And it comes with the little white buttons for the bunny's tails. So I have those. But yeah, so that should be fun. Just if I get around to it, it's my it's my new start. And then I did have a finish. Yay! If I can get it out here. Yeah. Sorry, I have a little pile over here. So the gnome, the gnome Biscornu. This is my first Biscornu, and I haven't FFO'd yet because I had to work up the courage for that still. But anyway, so a couple weeks ago, I finished the front part, the gnome part, And the other day I finished the back, which is this the little corner floral motifs. I'll say that 5 times fast. Yeah, so it's really pretty. There's the little pink and yellow of the flowers. There you can see the little things, and there's just a tiny bit, just tiny backstitch part in this, connecting the yellow part of the flowers to the pink part of the flowers, and then the stems. So that's, and it's just repeated 4 times. The hard part was that it's, it's hard to count from, so I started the border first, and then did the corners. And I had I knew how much space would be between the borders here, between the front half and the back half. But if you look, there's a slight difference between this border and this border. This is 1 thread, and this is 2 threads. And it's supposed to be 1 thread, on each side. But without thinking, I just started with the loop method and did 2 threads, and I went all the way this way and all the way down here and about that far, just to to the end of about this far in this with this double thread, and I I did, because I started kind of out in the middle of nowhere, because this is all that existed, this little border. And excuse me 1 minute, Puck, get off please, thank you, you're stepping on everything. But anyway, so I just started it without thinking. I started it with a loop method and did 2 threads and went all the way around, right? All right, I mean down to this, till I ran out of thread, which is down in this bottom corner somewhere. So then I did this corner and I did this corner, and then I thought, well, okay, I need to finish this border so I can, since I had to move it on the hoop so I could do this side. So I was looking at the border, and that's when I realized, oh, I did it with 2 threads. And so I thought, well, do I take out all of this border and redo it with 1 thread? No. Because the only reason this backstitch border is there is because that's what you use when you sew it together. So you do kind of an overhand or whatever. But anyway, you just stitch along that backstitch line. So it's not going to really make any difference at all. It's just going to be a little thicker than it would have been normally, but you really can't tell. So you can kind of see the difference here between 2 threads and 1 thread. But when it's sewn together, I don't think it's going to make any difference at all. But yeah. And it's just done on a white even weave. But so I need to choose some buttons for the middle here and here when I put it together. But so yeah. I have, 2 other Biscornus that I started. The Western Biscornu was the first one that I started from Tinymodernist that I had downloaded off their website. And that one, the download had the finishing instructions. This little card that I purchased from them, it's part of the Biscornus. This Biscornus are part of their Biscornu of the Month series. I don't remember if the Western Biscornu was or not. But anyway, these don't have any finishing instructions whatsoever. It's just the inside is just the pattern, and then the back here is just the thread chart. And stitch count and that sort of thing, but there's no real finishing instructions on here. You'd have to go, I guess, to the website or whatever. But fortunately, they have the instructions on this little PDF that I have for the Western Biscornu, and then the Dragon Biscornu that I've shown before. The front side is maybe 3/4 of the way done, and then I have to do the back side as well. And it's a little bit more, it's more constant all the way around than this one was. This one just had the little isolated corners, and the Dragon one has a pattern all the way around, as well as a backstitch line. But anyway, so yeah. Well, I think when I get all three of them finished, then I'll FFO them together at the same time. Maybe, maybe. We'll see. And then the only other thing I have is a little bit of haul. We went to Joann's the other day, sorry. And so while I was there, I went ahead and bought just another thing of white. It says Monaco even weave Lugana, so whatever that means. But it's just a white even weave 28 count. And I don't know, I was looking, when my sister and I were dyeing that fabric, I was looking at my fabrics that I have, and I have like two or three pieces of white, a white even weave, I think. And then I have a big piece of white Aida cloth that I got off the freebie table at Stitch Shenanigans last year, which is what I think I'll use when I try a different dyeing technique for color for that piece of to do the one piece that I'm working on for the Etsy shop. I think I'll just use another piece of Aida for that, and the small piece. But anyway, so I bought this white even weave, and then and I bought some Etoile colors. I have a gold, yellow, gold, whatever color that I've been using, that I've used a little bit for my Blackrock Angels. And so while we were there, I was just looking at these and just picked some colors that I liked. This one looks black, but you can kind of see the blue. It's a dark blue, like a navy blue, and this one here I think is the black one. So they look look slightly different on camera. It's hard to tell. Maybe on my shirt. No, I don't know. You can't tell. But anyway, so yeah, I just bought some. This is green, kind of springy colors, pinky purpley pink color, I guess, and the black, and this navy blue, and this is a darker purple, and a dark green, and lighter blue. So I didn't buy them for any particular reason. I just thought I would, you know, there might be some occasion when I might use them, so I went ahead and got them. So I think that's about it. We're still, trying to self-isolate as much as possible. My sister did go out and buy a few groceries and stuff like that. So, and I'm hoping that maybe Monday or Tuesday or thereabouts, I may have to, I'm hoping that my doctor's office will be open enough to authorize a prescription refill. I have one prescription refill that is out of refills, and I'm actually a little overdue to just go into the doctor's office for a checkup, check my blood work, blah, 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 to make sure my prescriptions are still at the right level or whatever. And I've been overdue for a little while, but so when I run out of refills, my pharmacist just called the doctor's office, and they went ahead and okayed the refills, even though theoretically I should have gone in for a checkup, whatever, but they haven't. I'm like I said, I'm kind of overdue, and then this crisis hit, and so I don't know what their policy is, but I don't want to sit in in the waiting room, being a healthy person so far, I don't want to sit in the waiting room with who knows, what kind of illnesses people might have, including this COVID-19 virus or whatever. So I don't want to sit there and one, be exposed to whatever anybody else might have, and B, take up the doctor's time if they're dealing with truly sick people. And even though, the lab work and all that stuff is important, I can keep on with the same level of medication that I'm taking for a while longer, if that helps at all, So so I'm hoping that the doctor's office will just, okay that refill, and I'll be able to get it the beginning of next week, and even though I would have to venture out to do it amongst all the sick people, venture out to the pharmacy to do that. I would prefer that to having to go in to see the doctor, in order to get a refill or whatever, because of sick people being around, and who frankly, need to be at the doctor's office more than I need to be. So anyway, so as far as the Snuggle? As far as the as staying in, going out, whatever, that's the only thing that I need right now. For the most part, we're staying in. Well, one of the nice things that somebody did, one of our neighbors, and I don't know, we don't know who it was. They, I guess, left a plate of cookies by our door and just rang the doorbell and left, apparently, because my nephew went to answer the door, and I know the dog was barking like crazy, because she barks whenever anybody goes out, rings the doorbell, or even if my dad goes out to check the mail, he goes out, and we have an alarm. The people who lived here before put an alarm system. We don't have it hooked up to anybody, but the guy who lived here before had all the doors and windows and everything, beep if you open them, whatever. So anyway, my dad goes out the door every day to check the mail, to go down the street to the mailboxes and everything. So the door beeps and the dog barks, even though it's my dad. The dog barks like there's an intruder alert, Anyway, the neighbors came, and somebody rang the doorbell and left this plate of cookies, and it just said, hope you're doing well, take care, and said, heart your neighbors. So one of the neighbors around here, and it, kind of oh, I wish I could thank them or do something to reciprocate or whatever. But I don't know if they did that for all the neighbors, or for our house because they know my parents are older or whatever. But it was a nice gesture. We, a little plate of cookies, just to be nice, which is what I think we should all be doing something, to, if we can, to help our neighbors, to check on our neighbors, especially if you know that the people around you are elderly or whatever, that, just to check on them and to make sure that everything's okay, they have everything they need, whatever. So far, we're trying to sort of, be careful, but, fairly normal. We don't, in our household, we don't get out a lot anyway, but it has impacted a little bit. One of the things that we've always done is as a family, met for lunch after church on Sunday, or for on a couple of other occasions, especially if my parents or my mom or dad have an appointment, a doctor's appointment that's close to the noonish hour when they finish or whatever, that we a lot of times we'll meet for lunch or whatever. And so because of all of this, we've stopped, eating out because, well, you can't now, a lot of places, most places. But even before those, kind of, all the restaurants were, closed or whatever, we decided that it was safer to not be out in dining rooms with, excuse me, with lots of strangers or whatever. And then, so now, like, if my mom or dad has an appointment, whichever one, like my dad, will go to his appointment, and my mom will be here, and so somebody has to be in the house, and usually, like, my little sister will take whoever has the appointment, and my older sister will stay here, because if something were to happen, if there were some kind of crisis or whatever, she has a vehicle, and so she could, take whatever, the person to a hospital or whatever, But oddly enough, so my younger sister took my dad to an appointment the other day. When was it? Like Wednesday? Thursday. No. I don't know. Yeah, I guess Thursday. She took him to an appointment. And on the way home, they were almost back to the house when, I guess, Naomi was turning left, and this other car wrecked into the side where my dad was, and he was, banged up, just his arm was kind of hurting him from where he had slammed it, into the door or whatever, but he wasn't really injured. Nobody was injured, but it was just like very scary, and yeah, and my sister's car was kind of, just dented and scraped up and all that jazz. So that was kind of bad. And then fortunately, well, maybe that was Wednesday that it happened. I don't know. All my days are confused. But so fortunately, the next day, my dad had a different appointment, another appointment with a different doctor, with an orthopedic doctor or whatever, and was able to get like a cortisone shot, in his arm, because his arm was, bugging him a lot. So, but they were, able to sort of check him out, I guess, and make sure he was okay. But anyway, so, but for the most part, we've just been hanging out at home and being careful about our interactions outside the house, and it looks like tomorrow, I know our church will be doing a sort of an online thing you can watch together. You can watch online, and I don't know if my older sister's church is doing that, but they have that option to watch online. I don't remember. Anyway, but so for those of us who go to church, that's an option of, so you can watch the sermon online, and for us it makes sense because of my parents and for me actually too. So, and for us to just stay home and still interact with church that way. But yeah, so we're doing okay here. With the whole coronavirus thing. I'm hoping that it will, ease up in a few weeks for lots of reasons. For all the people who are whose employment is endangered by this whole situation. And just, for the country as a whole, just financially and socially and everything else, it's a big country, and there's lots of lots of people to deal with in that are doing well or suffering, or because either physically, health-wise, or financially. It's just a lot of problems, and a lot of things being bantered about whose fault it is, or what's going bad, or what's going good, or what's, what we should be doing, what we are doing, what we aren't doing, blah, 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 whatever. But the thing is that I don't think we've faced an ordeal like this in the modern world, that I recall anyway, since since I've been alive. Nothing on this same scale, and nothing, where we've had to just deal with this, a sort of unknown enemy, if you will. And I don't know that anyway, it's just, a complicated problem. It's complicated for lots of reasons. But anyway, well, we're doing okay. And as far as crafters are concerned, to get this back on track, there's lots of stuff to be done, lots of crafts to be crafted, and it hasn't really changed much that I do, because I don't work every day, and so it hasn't changed my income and my routine or whatever. Except that, we're just, I can't, run to Joann's when I want to, or Hobby Lobby or whatever. I don't have to, and so I don't. But it's not like I don't have plenty of fabric and thread and patterns, to last me forever. And matter of fact, I haven't, somebody had, I think in the, some people are doing the common threaded stitcher thing, and I haven't been. I've been reading them and looking at them, but I haven't really been joining in and posting anything. But several people had posted showing their stash storage or whatever, and somebody had said, they have, their fabric here and their threads here and their, and another thing for their all their kits. I thought, gosh, I haven't even looked in ages. I haven't looked at my kit, because I have a separate little container thing that has all my kit projects, things that are sold as a kit, and so they have fabric and they have thread, and I just haven't really. I have some that I thought, oh yeah, I want to work on that, and they're just, they're in a bag or whatever, and I just haven't gone back to look at them in a while. They're in a box in my closet. I've been looking at patterns that I bought recently or whatever, and like the other day when my sister and I were dyeing fabric, I had all this extra fabric, and I thought, gosh, here I am, I've got all the mess out right now. I could go ahead and dye something, but I thought, I don't know, I haven't I haven't got any plans right now saying, oh, I need this color of fabric, or I want to dye this for this pattern or whatever. And so I have lots of patterns sitting there waiting to be worked on, and I haven't kitted anything up, to do those yet. But so that's why I wanted to do the hands-on design more chocolate bunnies, because I had kitted that up, put the threads and the materials in it, and things like that. But also I want to just go through that fabric stash again and pair up some, kit up some projects, or at least the fabric on them, if not the threads, because I'm, I have a whole bunch of DMC thread, and I have a little bit of Week Star Works thread, and so I want to go through, a couple of projects and maybe decide. But I also don't want to strand a whole bunch of like DMC threads in a package of, say, oh, I'm going to kit this up, and then maybe not work on it. And here I've got all these threads stuck in there, and then I'm working on something else. I'm going, where's my such a thread? Well, it's, in some other, bag with another pattern, and I've lost track of it. And that's happened to me a couple of times already. So, Yeah, it's kind of a pain in the neck. So um, it's either get a bunch of duplicate threads, which is it's fine, but or else be relatively monogamous, and so that I can keep track of everything that I'm working on and keep track of where all my threads are. It's a dilemma. It's a first world problem. But and it's also an organizational problem. If I were better organized, I would know where everything is, theoretically. Anyway, it's a good problem to have. Um, but yeah, so that's what I'm working on. All this stuff for the Etsy shop, stuff for Stitch Shenanigans, and stuff for me. Yeah. So anyway, I think that's all. I've blathered on long enough um, for things, talking about things. So until next time, hopefully everything will be in the box below, the link to the Etsy shop for those of you who would like to go and check that out. And hopefully sooner we'll have more things in the Etsy shop that to choose from, to look at. But it just depends on how quickly we can put things together. And one thing that I think is not in there necessarily is like how to finish things, like detailed finishing instructions, because for the most part I think I don't know that you're gonna like look at something and say, oh, I want to finish it just like that. But it's more a matter of like, here's the pattern and the threads, and you can finish it, in whatever you use, whatever fabric you prefer, and finish it how you prefer. If it, as far as making the little chore flips are concerned, I think I need to look at that and make sure, see what the instructions say, and check that they're properly detailed as far as like how to make the little flippy part, the little chain that connects them or whatever, and whether or not you want to use a magnet or a hanger kind of thing. But like I said, those are for the most part somewhat, you can do them as you wish. Um, but I'm going to look at the finishing instructions and see if there's anything in there that needs to be clarified. That's the word I want, clarified. But anyway, so next time hopefully I'll have a little more to show you that's finished. I think that's it. So until next time, I am Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches, and I will see you next time. Bye.